So the standard jiu-jitsu guy is like, yeah, if you choke me until I'm unconscious, if you try to tear my arm off or break my elbow or even the knee or foot, that's totally fine. But if you do anything that is not allowed in competition, then you have to be out of your mind. That's crazy, that's so dangerous, it's illegal. Call the effing cops right now because man, I feel so endangered. So if I would do like Kani Bazami, jump at your legs and scissor your legs, that's insane. Like that's absolute dick move. I've heard the worst words when I showed an instructional for it. Like, yeah, I would never roll with you again. You're out of your mind. You should be kicked out of your dojo. You shouldn't be allowed to teach jiu-jitsu at all, blah, blah, blah. But if I happen to jump right from the front with all my weight on your legs and knees right against the knee joint, which is called a guard jump, well, that's totally fine. That's easy. Maybe even white belts should do it. Maybe not, maybe just blue belts. Well, but it's like objectively more dangerous. They're like, yeah, if it's illegal, man. Oh, no problem. I can grab you in your collar, at your collar, right? Throw you over my head down from like 1.90 m or something, down to the floor if you have to tuck your head, right? Or you break your fucking neck. That's no problem. That's no problem. Why should that be a problem, right? It's no problem if I grab you, if you're standing and I grab your neck and I start cranking it a bit and choking you. No problem, that's fine. You just control and you just tap in time. But if I grab your head in another position, man, that's freakishly dangerous. You're gonna like bring people into a wheelchair. You're crazy, like all the alarm is going off, man. Lights are flashing. Police siren is in the back. They're coming for you or me if you do it. It's absolutely insane, man. You're like, yeah, going for the elbow. No problem. Anybody goes for breaking the elbow. You just tap, right? But for the wrist, that's a total dick move, man. You're gonna fucking break people's wrists. Because as we all know, it's absolutely very easy to do an armbar in a controlled way. You just do it controlled. You give your partner time to tap. Nothing happens. Same if you start twisting your shoulder. You just give them time to tap. But in a wrist lock, that's absolutely impossible. It's immediately going to snap in half, and you're gonna be obliterated. You're gonna be You're gonna be in a wheelchair probably. You can never play the piano fucking again. It's also no problem, if I grab your neck and start squeezing your trachea and whatever. Because, yeah, do it in a controlled way, right? So you just tap, no problem. But, man, if I do it from another position, then it's absolutely impossible to do a neck crank in a controlled way, right? Like a can opener, it's literally impossible to do it in a controlled way. I mean, in catch as catch wrestling, we can, right? And in Sambo, we can, no problem. We can even do Kani Bazami. But if you happen to be a jiu-jitsu, it's literally impossible. Because that one time, that zero stripe white belt who was 557,000 pounds heavy, broke somebody's neck and leg at the same time with that move, and that tells us it's freakishly dangerous. I mean, all the breaks in arm bars and shoulder injuries, they don't tell us that's dangerous. They just weren't controlled enough or didn't tap in time. But the other techniques, because they happen to be not allowed in competition, aka they are fucking illegal. Go to jail if you do it. So man, if you don't know that, right? That's just crazy. That's just freakish impossible. I remember, I might not look old, about 17, right? Maybe 23. But I remember 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, footlocks were looked at the same from the vast majority of the jiu-jitsu scene. There were no problem for luta libre guys, no problem for sambo guys, but the jiu-jitseros were just like, yeah, footlocks are dirty, they're a dick move, they're not actually real techniques, and they're so freaking dangerous, especially heel hooks. Heel hooks are so dangerous. Because it will, absolutely, if you even touch the heel hook, it will make your ACL go pop, 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 pop. It will just, bam, be gone. There is literally No way you can do this in a controlled way, and it needs to be banned. And also, it's absolutely useless for self-defense, because why would you attack somebody's foot, right? So let's leave it at that. But then a couple years ago, especially some no-gi guys started doing it, and now it's no problem. Now they just find out that, oh, like surprise, motherfuckers, surprise, you can do footlocks in a controlled way. And maybe, it's not the first technique you should teach somebody, and also maybe you shouldn't like just crank them like an idiot. Maybe you should learn some control, maybe you should tap. And now it's the same with neck locks. They're like, yeah, it's not a real technique. I will not tap to it, but it will definitely injure my neck permanently. And I'm like, maybe that means you should fucking tap, right? Maybe that's what it means, right? Is that right? Is it right? Like, many locks don't hurt me as much. I just know that if I do not tap, I will get injured. And so, as a like thinking man with some kind of sense, I tap, then they let go, and I can continue with my life as before, right? Is that a concept you might be able to grasp, right? So that means you can do almost any technique, okay? Yeah, it's like you know, if you travel somewhere, good tip, if they can eat it, I can eat it. It's very simple. If it's food to them, it's food to me, right? If they can do it, I probably can do it. So if the cat wrestlers can do neck cranks, and they aren't all wheelchair drivers, then we can do it. If the luta libre guys and sambo guys can do heel hooks in a controlled way, without unnecessary injuries, we can do it. If wrestlers can do suplexes, well, then we can do it, right? If jiu-jitseros can do whatever lock they think they invented themselves, we can do it as well. We just have to, hear me out, and that's the crazy principle, apply the same amount of care and emphasis on safety and control that we already do for things like kimura and arm bars and chokes and throws. That very same principle, we have to apply it to the other techniques as well. Is that a hard concept to grasp? Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Call me all the names you like. Call me crazy. Call me whatever, the worst person in existence, and your coach would totally, I don't know, dick twist me as I've been called, or kick me in the head, or whatever you like. But think about it for a second.